What's going on, y'all? It's Liam Crowley with ScreenRant. We're here at New York Comic Con, and I am thrilled to welcome the cast of Stranger Things: The First Shadow to our suites. Guys, thanks so much for making time for me and ScreenRant today. I love your show. I saw this thing back in April, and I was just saying to Louis before we started recording, it's a film.
Yeah.
In live act. I'm looking for the wires. I'm trying to figure out how you guys pulled this off. I guess I kind of want to start there. Are you just like still in awe of what you guys were able to accomplish?
Yeah, it's a crazy feat. I mean, especially during tech and rehearsal. I mean, getting an insight, a personal insight into these very specific, handcrafted illusions and technical works that we're pulling off for the very first time in the history of Broadway. They are developing new ways to fly people, new ways to make stuff disappear. These guys are working so hard, and you're there creatively deciding how to make that best work on stage. I mean, it was an absolute thrill ride, and to see it performed every night, to be a part of that, I mean, for one, I count myself so lucky. I mean, we are just creating something that has never been done before on stage every single night.
Yeah, I mean, they literally gave us a special Tony Award for the special effects alone, right? And that's like no competition. That just was given to our team because of the amount of work and effort that has happened and continues to happen. We have one of the best crews on Broadway making this stuff happen every single day. But it's also one of those beautiful things where the tech itself begins to celebrate the work that we are doing within it. You know, Stephen Daldry, one of our directors, and Justin Martin, our other director, they always said that if all of the tech was gone, if the mind flayer wasn't there, you know, what is left? It is the story, it's the characters, it's the heart, it's all that good stuff.
Amazing. Gabrielle and Alex, to come to you guys, this show has been on Broadway for 6 months now, fair to say?
Just about, yeah.
Just about 6 months. Have your family, friends come to see it? And if so, did they share any crazy reactions? Because I did not realize how interactive the show is. I sat on the aisle, and there were people walking down. There was some smoke going down. Louis, you ran by me a couple times. Pretty special experience. Did your friends and family have that?
Yeah, when my friends and family come, I try to put them on the aisle. I walk down as a hazmat suit, and I either plant some candy under their seat, or I'll like take them up and out of their seat and kind of do like a TSA pat down, which like freaks the rest of the audience out because they're like, "Oh my god, like they can do that," and kind of move on. So yeah.
You sneakily like signed a waiver when you bought the tickets or something like that.
Yeah. My mom saw it and she was like, "You look great in that suit, and you're so creepy, darling."
Oh.
I was like, "Thanks, Mom."
Yeah, my 3 best friends came opening night. They flew in from Los Angeles on a red eye. They got dressed. I had never seen them dressed up before. My best friend, he bought a tux, and it was so emotional. But there's a point in the play where some pretty scary things happen to Patty. And I shriek. I didn't know that I could make this noise. My friends certainly did not know that I could make this noise. So when I began to scream, my 2 other friends that were sitting with my friend in the tux, they were like, he shot up out of his seat, like stood straight up and was about to like run down there to come get you. I was like, what? Y'all, like, it's a play. We're in the theater, like chill out. But yeah, they've had such beautiful reactions. I've had friends who have never seen Stranger Things watch all 4 seasons, like binge it before they come see the play, which you don't have to do, but they were like, I want to know every little Easter egg. I want to be there to support. So yeah, my best friends have come, both my parents have come. So yeah, it's been a crazy, wild ride to share that with them.
Yeah, like it's been touted, you can go into this thing completely blind and have never even heard of Stranger Things before, get a good story, but also there's so much reward for fans of the franchise going back a decade, all those little Easter eggs. Louis, to start with you with some character-specific questions, I've been wanting to ask you this since I saw the show back in April. How's your therapist?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Employed.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say, yeah, better than ever. Yeah, more money. Yeah. I mean, I was actually talking about this earlier today. The whole toll of doing a show like this.
8 shows a week?
8 shows a week, and I try my hardest to do 8 because, you know, I love it, and it's a lot of fun. And people ask, you know, they're like, it's so hard, it's so physical, the voice and all this stuff, but you know,
body convulsions.
Yeah, I get to work with Gabby and Alex more specifically in the play. Those are the 2 characters that Henry more or less deals with as he's figuring out his psyche and his moral compass and stuff. And they make it really fun. There's a lot of creative decisions happening on a minuscule level every night because theater isn't film and film isn't theater. But what we're doing is we are right in the middle. So there's what I had to learn as well was there's this like expressiveness of letting the audience know what the hell's happening, so they can understand what's going on inside your brain, and you're not just like keeping it all inside. But then it's your job with the person alongside you to go, hey, I'm also listening to you. And then we're bouncing back and forth, and we're just making these decisions every night, and we're reacting with the chemistry of the audience. And sometimes they're really quiet, and we're like, hey man, we got energy, let's bring you up. And we start going maybe 150%. And it's like a eye-to-eye conversation you can have with somebody on stage that is so beautiful and chemical. It's honestly like, the way like they say love's a hormone you feel. It's a connection you can't describe. That's what we're doing on stage. There is something else that you cannot describe on stage. So my therapist is great, but we are having a lot of fun on stage.
I like a lot of things you said there. The connection too, like you mentioned, it's the live audience feedback. It's something you don't get on a film set. You have to wrap production, then wait, 6 to 12 months to see what the fans think.
Yeah.
To toss something you said to you, Alex, you're involved in season 5. I've read that you're playing a separate character.
That's
different
right.
from Dr. Brenner?
Yes, so I'm playing a separate character. I was actually cast in the TV show, and I was in Atlanta doing that for 2024, when at the very end of the year, I was still shooting Stranger Things, the TV show, when I was cast as Dr. Brenner.
Amazing. So with what Louis was saying about how theater isn't film and film isn't theater, how has the experience of being both on the stage side of Stranger Things as well as the film set side of Stranger Things or TV set side of Stranger Things impacted each other?
They really inform each other. Like, piggybacking on what Louis said, like what Louis is such a star at is kind of animating the interiority that people love about film onto stage. So there's a little bit more a sculpture of amplification. His physicalization is incredible. It's actually very beautiful, but at the same time, like violent and spastic. So I think just not blushing with the audience's attention on you, but actually expanding within that is kind of like the key that I think we've all found in the show. And unlike film and TV, where there is no rehearsal, and you do it maybe 3, 4, 5 times if time allows, and then it lasts forever. This is an iterative experience where we're doing it over and over, almost 200 times now, and we're getting to keep carving at the sculpture, but it is ephemeral. It only happens that one night with that audience in the crowd, those special mistakes or discoveries that happen every night. You reset. The Etch-a-Sketch is shaken, and it's reset every night. And so it's like that extreme rehearsal, ephemera, versus no rehearsal, lasts forever. Hope you did a good job, kid.
Yeah, I wonder which of the shows will be considered like this is the definitive canon. On October 10th, this was
Literally.
the canonical.
That was when we
Opening
nailed
night
it.
was canon. That was it.
I hope the show I was at was canon. Mid-April?
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
It's a great one.
You
Oh,
especially.
I remember,
You know you.
Y'all remember that one?
No, us.
For him. We did so good.
What's cool too about this show, like we said, it's a prequel taking place several decades before the first season of Stranger Things. But there are seeds that are planted in this prequel that didn't sprout until like season 3 or season 4. Burke, coming to you for Hopper's relationship with Joyce. Like that's a relationship that first began in the first Shadow, and there were no romantic tensions of those two characters in seasons 1 and 2. And then 3, we get a little bit of a tease, and 4, it's a full-blown relationship. Why do you think it took Hopper so long to make the big move on Joyce?
Well, Hopper's got a lot of things in his own way that he's working through in order to get that. But I think what is so beautiful, I mean, we all love Jopper here at the First Shadow. We all love Jopper. I got my friendship bracelet on with it says so, Allison Jay, who plays Joyce, is just so incredible. And Patrick Scott McDermott, who's playing our Bob Newby. We are that trio effect. And I think what it is that Hopper, whether in the TV show or whether 30 years prior when he's in high school, is somebody who is really resistant to community, really resistant to love, and would rather be able to give it to himself or be able to find it within himself. And I think in many ways doesn't believe that he deserves it. And when you have a character like Joyce who is so effusive with her love, right? It's almost affronting in the beginning. And even in our show, it takes the whole show to really begin to allow Hopper the chance to actually welcome that in. And like you took the words right out of my mouth. It is the seed that is planted that takes 30 years. It's a lot of life, right? Joyce goes on a whole different journey, and so does Hopper. And I think the really beautiful thing is that we have such an incredible opportunity to explore every aspect of that story.
Yeah.
And we get to see the depths of that love.
Very well said. It's not the only romantic relationship we have in the first Shadow. Patty and Henry kind of have something going on.
Yeah, this
there.
is this.
Shout out to Ted and Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ted and Karen. That's the big romance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really fun as an actor to explore that. Patty, for sure, has never had anyone in her life. Her dad hates her. Her brother is no longer around. She has no friends. She's seen as a freak and a weirdo because she's an orphan and she doesn't know who her mom is. So Patty's got a lot going on. And she meets Henry, and all of a sudden there's this entity that's similar to her. And she doesn't exactly know how to deal with that, especially in the first scene. You think maybe she's trying to bully Henry. Maybe it's like that 6-year-old thing of like, oh, I like you, I'm gonna pull your hair. You know what I mean? She's definitely testing him very early on in Act 1, and then, you know, as the story unfolds, these two characters really learn how to trust each other. And yes, it is a love story, but I like to view it as it's a story of trust because they're both broken spirits. They're both essentially wounded animals, and they're trying to accept that love and accept that gentleness and that kindness. And I'm really proud of the story that we built with Stephen Daldry and Justin Martin and Kate Treefry. Especially from a Patty perspective, there was so much creative license that they kind of gave me. They let me really infuse Gabrielle into the character, just with her charm and her wit and the courage that she demonstrates. It's a beautiful story, and I hope that when people come see the play, they feel seen and heard by Patty and Henry.
Can I ask you a spoiler question?
Of course.
All the characters with me today, we've seen in Stranger Things, the main series. They're alive in the present timeline. We haven't seen Patty.
We've not.
And it's kind of left up for interpretation at the end of the first Shadow that she might still be around.
Yeah, she might be. I mean, I'll give you a genuine answer. I don't know. I don't know Patty's fate. I don't know if she will be hanging out with the rest of the crew in season 5, but I like to think that she did have a happy ending. If you come see the play, you have your own interpretation as well.
Do you think she would still see good in Henry/Vecna?
In Henry specifically, I think that he can do no wrong. I truly do.
Even
I
if
think
he's
that
tearing Hawkins in half,
I
quite
truly
literally.
do. I think that she would 1,000,000% in her heart of hearts look at Henry and be like, you didn't mean to do that. I do. And I think that that is her superpower, and that is also her greatest flaw, because Gabrielle would be like, nah, you killed the cat, bro. I know it was you. We are not.
I forgot about the cat. Jeez, that just took me back. Oh my goodness.
But
April 12th.
I'd like to think that Patty is a little bit better of a human, and she would somehow find the good in all of the horror that he's done.
Gabs, I think that's a great point. That because there's also a tension and I don't know, a romance, but a relationship between Brenner and Henry happening as well, right? And there's relationships that we want to see come to fruition. There's relationships that we don't want to see happen. We're resisting the whole time. But that is the beautiful part about what Kate Treefry, incredible writer, who's writer on the show since season 2, has done, is these dynamic characters who have many different relationships in their lives that are pulling them here and there. And every single one of them has yet another choice to make. And it's those relationships around them that will help to make that choice. That community element, if it's not there, you have a character that goes one extreme. But is that person deserve a second chance? Can they make another choice as well? And we get to find that out through our show and other Stranger Things.
Other Stranger Things. If there's a Vecna redemption arc that happens, I'd be quite impressed with the Duffer Brothers for pulling that one off, because he seems a little far gone. Louis, what I want to ask you specifically about Henry is, in the main series, Vecna has had interactions with our kids. The main Stranger Things kids. He hasn't had those interactions though, a one-on-one with a Hopper, with a Joyce, and these are relationships we get to see fleshed out here in the first Shadow. What do you think that conversation looks like as adults?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's really interesting. So, we do have a scene called Dimmer Room, where it's Joyce and Henry, and basically it's a representation of the two pinnacle points of our show, which is love and fear. And Joyce, kind of oblivious to all the sound effects going on and the screaming and the crying, but she's trying to mold him and say, hey, it's not your fault. And we were talking about this earlier as well. It was like, there's a line that Alex brought up, which was, no one made me anything, I made myself. And it's this taking control, which is a lot of his actions are rooted by fear. He's taking control by fear, by lashing out. And, it's funny. I mean, I have a scene with you, which I love, which is very awkward. And a lot of the scenes that we use in the play are used to signify different points in a character's journey. But if we were to take that to season 5, I mean, it would be extremely emotional, in my opinion, to see, imagine seeing Joyce watch this kid that she knew as Henry Creel, who was in the play, who she thought was a good guy, and who really rooted for him, and he actually roots for Joyce as well, because he kind of spares Joyce in the end. He's like, you're a nice person, Joyce, but you need to learn a couple things. I'm going to go find Patty now. But if they were to find each other in season 5, I can't imagine how exciting that would be. They've both grown up, they both got different ideals now. They both have to save or burn Hawkins to the ground. And that would be such a destructive conversation. But we see kind of the building blocks of that in our play. That would be great, man. I would love to see that.
I really hope we get it. I'm getting chills just thinking about that conversation.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the runtimes for season 5? It's a movie every
Movies.
week.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
you were
yeah.
talking about it, right? It was like each episode is an epic.
Literally. No, everything is at least, I want to say 2 hours. And then the grand series finale is 3 hours. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, how you're going to make us wait 3 years and then make all the runtime supersize? I push back because season 4, to me, is up there with like True Detective season 1 as the greatest season of television of all time.
My guy.
Yeah.
I sat down and watched that whole season with my friend Nick from home. And we sat down for, I think, like 12 hours straight. We planned on watching one episode, and all of a sudden now it's dark out and I'm walking home at 3 a.m. I'm like, I can't wait for season 5.
But you mentioned True Detective. I mean, like this last season, Stranger Things 5 has that depth, maturity, that darkness, that psychology that all the fans are gonna want and be hungry for. And we've given ourselves the runway to actually explore that. And I think our show is definitely an appendage of, it's been considered canon by the writers, of the show. So it's super special.
And I think for us, for Netflix, who introduced streaming, binging to our society, right? It is so intriguing to me that one of their biggest IP, the thing that helped bring them to the status that they have, is actually reintroducing to you, be present with this material, right? Maybe it's okay to just watch the 2.5 hour episode and actually sit with that. You've waited and spent 10 years of your life giving energy to these characters. To witness is to receive, to receive is to give. So we urge you, come see our show because it is an extension of that. This is all of the moment. We've all been going through this for 10 years, and particularly those people who've given their life to these performances. I mean, what a beautiful thing that we are getting to witness. I don't really think it's really been done since maybe Marvel, with that first sort of major arc with Infinity. Like these are huge touchstones in society, and we should rest in it. Yeah.
Burke just dropped some bars. I can't think of a better way to wrap the interview, but I will say really quickly, how special is it for you guys? You don't have to answer this question. I'm just giving you your flowers to contribute to the Stranger Things universe. And now with this grand finale, you get to experience it as fans again. No one else in the history of entertainment media gets to have both sides of that fulfilled. So you guys should be very proud. And I'm excited to hear all of your thoughts when season 5 comes out this fall.
Cheers. We'll see you again
Thank you
soon.
so much. Thanks for having us.